This is McFetridge Park, the venue for today's National League Championship match, round 11 between Northern Rovers and Central Football. It's the Women's National League, formerly the home of Glenfield Rovers, now Northern, a amalgamation between Glenfield and Forest Hill Milford. Two very different fortunes for these two teams across the season, with Northern Rovers sitting in third place in the table and Central Football yet to register a single point in the competition. And confirmation of one result from round 11. Western Springs defeated Auckland United by 3-2. And also Southern United taking on Capital Football. Northern Rovers, of course, is our game with Central Football. And Eastern Suburbs, the runaway leaders of the league, taking on Canterbury United at William Green Domain in Pakuranga tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Confirmation of how the National Women's League stands. It's Eastern Suburbs 30 points out of 30, Western Springs 4 points adrift, and Northern Rovers in third place really need to win all 4 games and hope that Western Springs slip up somewhere along the way. Springs just need 4 or 5 points to be certain of a place in the grand final against the runaway Lilywhites. Central Football in 8th position, as you can see. No points so far, but most of their goals have come in the last 4 or 5 games. So there are some positives there for their coach, Matt Calvert, and the squad. Let's take a look at how the teams line up for today's game. Starting first of all with Central Football. It's a 4-3-3 formation. There are 3 changes from the team that was beaten 9-1 by Eastern Suburbs last week. Isla Cleel Harding comes in, Holly Kleinsman also, and McKenna Chittenden. The players that have dropped out of the picture, Lara Smith, Kate Bennett, and Grace Smith, who was on target. And for Northern Rovers, Ben Bate has made 4 changes. There may be an element of experimentation involved with this, with bigger games to come. Riley Sheldon, Suya Herring and Courtney Noble, Leanna Ryan are all inserted into the lineup. Greer McIntosh and Chelsea Elliott have dropped out, while the prolific Renee Wazzy goes to the bench, as does Alexis Cook. It's a very strong 4-3-3 formation, and Northern Rovers will be heavily favoured to win this game. They did defeat Central Football by 9-0 in the earlier rounds of this league, and they'll be expecting to rack up the points and the goals to keep the pressure on second place Western Springs. The referee for today's game, Beth Rattray. She last took control of a game featuring Central back on the 30th of October when Central were beaten 9-3 by Auckland United. The assistant referee is Reza El Rabea, Courtney Day, and the 4th official is Yunji Diao. Well, I'm Gordon Glenn Watson. I'll be calling the game with you, or for you today, alongside Harry Nata, former All Whites. Harry, this game in so many ways looks straightforward for Northern Rovers, but they still have some pressure on them to play for places and put pressure on Western Springs, and Central have been scoring goals lately, something they didn't do at the start of the season.
Yeah, you alluded to it before, Gordy, around the 2 different seasons that both these teams are having. Central will be definitely looking to try and record some points before the end of the season. We've got, I think, four games, including this one, to go. So Matt Calvert will be hoping his charges are organised and can actually try and create something. I mean, you can sit back and try and defend for long periods, or you can actually try and have a go. So I'm sure he'll be looking at his team to be as positive as they can this afternoon. On the other hand, you're right, Ben Bate, they need to win the remaining 4 games, and hopefully Northern Rovers can actually push for a spot in that top 2. But again, with no Estelle Harrison, and obviously Michaela Foster picking up a contract with the Wellington Phoenix, they are a bit light as well. Renee Wasi, who I've been impressed with for so many parts of the season, scored a couple of goals last week and on the bench this week. So you're right, perhaps a bit of experimentation for Ben Bate with the last few games before the end of the season.
Well, Central Football have shown some relative improvement. 8 goals scored in the last 4 games. It's an average of 2 per match. Considering that they went their first 6 games having scored just the 1 goal. It's preventing goals that has been the problem for the team from the Central Belt. They have conceded somewhere in the region of 25 goals in their last 5 games. They did run Capital Football very, very close in round 6, going down by a goal to nil, which must have been frustrating for them to deliver a performance that got them so close to a point, but just falling short. And very important today for Northern Rovers to keep the heat on. They've got to believe that they can catch Western Springs.
Yeah, Springs obviously with that 3-2 win against Auckland United on Friday night certainly gets them closer to Eastern Suburbs. Suburbs yet to play this weekend, but look, yeah, 10 from 10 for Eastern Suburbs. So they're certainly looking like the team that's going to finish on top, and it's going to be a battle for Southern United also in the mix as well, as we looked at the table earlier on, Gordy. So Northern Rovers ought to do. They really do need a win, 3 points today, and perhaps a chance to record a few goals as well.
Beth Rattray checking in with both goalkeepers, and we're underway at McFetridge Park as the team in all green go in search of their first point of the National Women's League season. Here's Rebecca Trout. Lovely interplay by Central in the early knockings of this game. Finale for Trevitt again, but that's given away, and now Northern Rovers can bomb forward through Kelly Brown. And here's an early chance, perhaps. Good goalkeeping. Annie Foote. Who aptly got her foot in just in the nick of time.
Kelly Brown's can be very direct at times, a lot of pace, and loves to play off the shoulders of defenders.
Well, there's a good ball in by Leanna Ryan. The shot is saved again by Annie Foote, who's getting an early workout here inside the first 70 seconds of this game.
Yeah, Leanna Ryan forcing the corner there for Northern Rovers.
Well, Leanna Ryan scored twice in Northern Rovers' 9-0 win over Central on the 2nd of October. So perhaps she sniffs more goals here today.
3, 2, 1 now.
Kelly Brown with the corner kick. It's a disappointing one. Herring. Interesting start by Central Football. Comes from such a wide catchment as well. Some of the club sides have a bit more cohesion, the ability to train together more regularly. This is perhaps counted against Central as the ball's wound into the edge of the box. Referee says no foul.
Yeah, it's so difficult for the federation sides, given particularly Central Football. If you look at their catchment areas from the east coast to Gisborne right through to Taranaki, down to Palmerston North and across Wanganui and Hawke's Bay. So
here's Ryan, and that is cleared from the edge of the 6-yard box. The goalkeeper had it covered. Yeah, there are vast distances between all those centres in the central region, and getting representative teams together is a logistical nightmare. even holding trials in the past
that's
was
right.
difficult.
You know, players getting to training from out of town, and you know, obviously combining that work commitments or study, and so it is, as you said, logistically such a difficult operation for a lot of these players. But and it's great that they now got some exposure on, you know, on Sky Sport Next.
Here's Leanna Ryan, who's got a lot of goal to aim at if she wants it. And that's a good stop by Annie Foote.
It's almost as if Leanna Ryan ran out a bit of puff there, because she had a great opportunity there to hit the back of the net from that sort of angle and that sort of distance, and almost just kind of scuffed the shot somewhat. And it was easy enough for Annie Foote to just to gather.
There was an opportunity there, wasn't there, as you say, from distance, to maybe have a pot with a bit more strength, but Ryan wanted to take the ball as close as possible, and that closed the angle up for Annie Foote. But she's got some more concerns now, as Rovers just clipped that one wide. Half a dozen chances in the first, inside the first 4.5 minutes.
Yeah, it was Danielle Canham out of the middle of the park. She's got a lot of, loves a box-to-box player. You know, I've seen her a few times this season, and loves to get into these sort of positions, makes those runs deep from midfield. She actually gets past the first striker as well at times. If the likes of Kelly Brown are receiving the ball, she's more times not than making that second run beyond the defender to receive the next pass.
It's nicely done by Breeze Durham. Here's Talisha Green. Now Central through McKenna Chittenden closed down that attack, but everywhere across that back line, Northern Rovers look very capable of breaching the opposition defence. Here go Northern Rovers again with a little give and go, and a possibility here for the first goal. It's cleared again from the 6-yard box by Central Football. They're defending well enough, but every single time in the 6-yard box, eventually something's got to give, you would imagine.
Yeah, it's just wave upon wave, isn't it, in the opening 6 minutes? For Central Football just to kind of stay as organised and as tight as they can at the back, but when you've got runners outside, you're overlapping runs, and then Leanna Ryan sort of pulling her run inside the box to receive that ball. I think it was Courtney Noble that made that burst around into the box.
Well, Central have given the ball away and won it back. They're giving themselves a lot of homework to do. This is Herring. Oh, lovely skill. And that's not a bad cross. It's dealt with. Now Durham. Noble. And Rovers do have their free kick on the edge of the box in a very, very useful position for Ben Bates' team.
Beth, do you want me on keeper or ball?
Kelly Brown had made a nuisance of herself, and Beth Rattray, the referee, was in the right spot at the right time to pick up the infringement.
Do you want my eyes on keeper?
And she walks the ball back.
Well, I'll try and keeper.
Canham standing over the ball. Well, this is a pop on goal, isn't it? For Danielle Canham. She can get the technique right and the power right. Now it's going to be a routine, and a very thoughtful one. Mackenzie Longmuir was sitting just on the edge of the 18-yard box. Central Football had been set back so deep that it had opened up that space on the edge.
Yeah, perhaps anticipating a strike on goal from Canham. Well worked free kick though, but Longmuir just couldn't get enough on it. You touched on Suya Herring before, Gordy. She did a great season as well. Obviously a member of the under-17 World Cup team that returned from India a few weeks ago. I think she played all 3 games actually. Very, very good young player.
Here's Kleinman. Well, some big games coming up for the football ferns as well. United States loom. The 2 matches recently played in Christchurch against Korea Republic yielded a draw in one and a narrow defeat in the other. The needle is moving incrementally in the right direction for Jitka Klimkova, and with young players coming through at clubs like Northern Rovers, perhaps the future is bright for women's football in this country. As Hearing runs forward, lines up a shot. It's well blocked again by Chittenden, and that's well held by Annie Foote at the near post. Courtney Noble had shown some interest in Leanna Ryan's cross. Quite like the delivery from Leanna Ryan.
Yeah, it was a nice ball, wasn't it, across the near post.
She's had a couple today. I've spoken about Amy Atkins at Eastern Suburbs having one of the best deliveries from the left-hand side in this league, and Leanna Ryan showing that she's got quality as well.
Yeah, Amy Atkins is certainly a lovely balanced player, and that futsal pedigree as well.
Here's Holly Kleinsman. That was a good first touch. The second just unable to match the first. Lily Dowsing had taken up a good position. That's well won by Central. Although Central have done a lot of defending, Harry, I quite like the way that Matt Calvert has got them set up. Like, there is possibility for them to get forward if they can connect their passes.
I think it's always when you come off a 9-1, defeat the week before, and you look, as you said earlier, I think it was 25 goals in the last 5 games they've conceded. So defensively, they have to be up, disciplined and organised. And you've got players like Kelly Brown who like I said, love to run off the shoulder of defenders. Danielle Canham likes to run from deep. Leanna Ryan gets around behind, as we've seen already so far. So if they can keep, those kind of, I guess, those chances to a minimum and really defend stoutly, and potentially look to get Northern Rovers on the break on the odd occasion if they can, string a couple of passes and build a little bit of pressure, enough for them to get their defensive line up towards halfway, so so they can actually start to play with some confidence in the attacking third. But it is so difficult when you're defending for long periods and you're content with just clearing the ball when you can and just trying to get the last line of defence and milled pushed up close to halfway. But at the moment it's wave after wave from Northern Rovers.
Well, I totally agree. You can see from Matt Calvert's work that he's given this team a roadmap to score goals. But they're up against a team that has not been shy in front of goal themselves, the 3rd top scoring team in the competition with 31 goals to their name, Northern Rovers.
You also look at their bench too, Gordy. Alexis Cook, under 17, New Zealand player with the young Ferns in India. Renee Wasi, we know, scored a number of goals and very influential player. So a lot of quality there. Shannon Henson scored last week against Capital. So they've certainly got some quality to come off the bench. Talked about before, no Estelle Harrison, obviously no Michaela Foster. So, early on in the season they were, they still are one of the better teams. A lot of quality through their side.
Yeah, Maisie Jewell as well as a name. She scored in the 9-0 win for Rovers over Central back in October. Nice touch from Canham. Kelly Brown getting to the byline, wins a corner.
I've got eyes on Peter. And back. Oh, back post.
Here's the corner, swung into the penalty spot. Oh, it's missed by Riley Sheldon, but Rovers still have it. Leanna Ryan trying to work some space. Support arrives in the figure of Suya Herring. Oh, he's given it away uncharacteristically, but that touch needed to have a bit more quality on it. Sheldon. This is Talisha Green. Nice ball into midfield. Laid off for Durham, and she's unable to find her target. Wins it back though. Durham again. Green. Here's Sheldon. Again, given away cheaply, but Central Football are unable to hold on to the ball in midfield for meaningful periods of time, and that is really letting Northern Rovers off the hook.
Yeah, just don't have the, at the moment, just don't have the I guess the quality to, to keep the ball and to build some pressure. Rovers are working hard when they do, turn possession over. They are working hard to get the ball back.
Nicely covered by Madison Hughes, but Central Football is sitting very, very deep as that ball goes in, and that was the best chance, perhaps, of the game. It fell to Leanna Ryan. Central Football sat so deep in the penalty box. The cross came in, I think, from Kate McConnell.
It was a nice cross, and Leanna Ryan just, not timing her, I guess, her run, because she did have the leap over the defender there. Probably the two best chances for Rovers falling to Leanna Ryan in this first half. We saw that left-footed shot, just didn't hit enough on it to worry any foot too much, and then just that header a few moments ago.
Well, it's symptomatic as well. When you're a team that's constantly under pressure, you tend to sit deeper and deeper and deeper. And if you're an attacking fullback, scoping out a cross, it's exactly what you want. There's plenty of space to be able to do that. And Central have got to get out of the habit of trying to defend every ball, if that makes sense. Try and get out to the ball carrier. It's a decent throw. It's headed away. Plenty of power on that clearance. It's gone well over halfway to Riley Sheldon. Now Talisha Green being urged to bring the ball forward. Here's McConnell. Here's Green again. It's a cross from deep that goes all the way to Leanna Ryan. She can't get the header on target, but Northern Rovers are getting a lot out of this.
Yeah, they're persevering with that tactic, aren't they? I mean, Central really do need to close, put some pressure on the ball, actually get their midfield a bit closer to the Rovers midfield. That's where I guess the delivery is coming from, right? Deep from midfield.
That's a good flicked header. Leanna Ryan has found some space and goes to ground rather easily, and Central have an opportunity to come forward. Kleinsman has won the throw.
It's a lovely bit of skill from Suya Herring. Just the confidence to be able to knock the ball past you or over your defender. Composure.
Well, for all the pressure Northern Rovers have created, they haven't scored yet. Nearly had 20 minutes.
Yeah, I guess the only, I guess, save that Foot's had to make is that one from Leanna Ryan inside the first 5 or 6 minutes, and since then she's had Ryan's got on a couple of crosses too from deep, but yeah, no real clear-cut chances other than that sort of free kick from Carnham into, I think it was Longmire. But more the possession, I guess, and the time that they've had in the opposition in this sort of area, in the attacking third for Rovers, they haven't created any really clear-cut chances as yet, and it's got to give credit to Central Football.
That's a good pass under pressure and well taken in by Central.
Well played.
Yeah, that was Georgie Furnell who has released Lily Dowsing. That's what Central need more of, isn't it, Harry? Like, they've played really well in that tight area, so they've shown a capability to do it. They just need to increase the frequency. Ryan finds the skipper, Talisha Green, her own penalty box. Now McConnell with space down the right. Kelly Brown ahead of her. Courtney Noble goes short and then peels away. Now there's space opening up down this right-hand side. Noble's there, Kelly Brown's there. That's a good cross just out of reach of Leanna Ryan. That was a beautiful counter-attack by Northern Rovers. Very deserving of a goal.
Yeah, they worked that so well, Northern Rovers, on that right-hand side. Lovely delivery from Kelly Brown. And Leanna Ryan just a foot or two away from burying that one into the back of the net.
Could have had a hat-trick of headers by now.
Yes.
It's only been a matter of centimetres in each instance too that she's missed out on putting the ball in the back of the net with her head. Here's Brown.
I guess you just have to persevere. It's one of those things, right? You just keep making those runs. If the delivery's going to come, you just keep making those runs. You only need one of them to come off, and right place, right time. Timing obviously is delicate as well.
Yeah, well, you would know about that as a former striker, that you know, if you go through lean spells and you know the ball's not hitting the back of the net, any coach will encourage you to keep, as you say, persevering, putting in that work. It's more of a worry if you're not in those positions.
That's right, absolutely. So I'm sure Leanna Ryan will continue to make those runs. Again, it'll give the likes of Rebecca Churritt and Jana Niedermeyer in the middle or on that right-hand side of defence for Central a lot of work to do.
Georgie Fennell-Feld, the skipper for Central Football. Niedermeyer launches it long. That's easily dealt with by the Rovers defence. And that's a good press by Central. No foul. Here's a possibility for the visitors to create something. Well, Rovers converged on the ball in big numbers. As soon as the pressure went on, Central folded. Away by Foot. Lovely touch by Lily Dowsing. Talisha Green's header has picked out Kelly Brown, who's given McConnell a lot to do. Chittenden. That was risky, and Northern Rovers could capitalise here. Here's a late run from the left back area from Suya Herring. That's a good cross and a wave again. Central Football have dominated in their own 6-yard box. They've had to, really.
There's been some lovely crosses from particularly this left-hand side. We saw the one before on the right from Kelly Brown, but Suya Herring, Leanna Ryan, some beautiful crosses into the box.
It's Courtney Noble. Breeze Durham playing it wide to McConnell. Has got loads of time to pick out the cross. This time Leanna Ryan was too close. But pressure still on for Rovers. Green ranging forward. McConnell to her right. Opts to have a go. It's off the crossbar. Goodness me. Ryan, and it's in the net. Perseverance does pay off. It hasn't come as a result of a header, but that won't be of any consequence to Leanna Ryan, who finished with great aplomb with the right foot. But once again, it was a moment that was created by the defenders coming forward and Central Football backing off.
I think it was a shot from Talisha Green from about, I think it was about 30 yards that sort of looped on its way down and hit the crossbar. And Leanna Ryan is any good striker. So we see the strike here from Talisha Green. And the crossbar. Carnham doing well to find Leanna Ryan. In the end, a really nice side foot finish from Leanna Ryan, a well deserved too.
Well, that will settle things down for Northern Rovers too. You don't want that pattern to continue all the way into towards half time. They have breached Central Football's defences at last with something a little bit unusual. And now they can perhaps add to their lead here as Cannon plays the ball in for Brown, and that is number 2. And 27 minutes gone, and Northern Rovers train has started to pull out of the station. And Central Football find themselves in a familiar position.
The lovely time ball too from Danielle Carnham after making that run out of midfield to find Kelly Brown. And a really nice finish from Kelly Brown too. Simple finish.
Two goals in just a handful of seconds, and the complexion of the match has changed utterly.
Yeah, it was Central were doing reasonably well defensively. I know they are under a bit of pressure, particularly from crosses from either side, but Rovers up to this point really failed to create any clear-cut chances other than the left foot strike from Leanna Ryan early on. They've just gone, 1-2. Double punch there from Northern Rovers to really dent the confidence of Central.
Well, their confidence will be absolutely fizzing as Brown releases McConnell down the right. Manages to keep it in. And earns the corner, I think. Yep, that is a corner. Well, Brown, the scorer of the second goal. Her 10th of the season as it goes towards a penalty spot. Well, it was clipped on by Talisha Green, and Central Football were happy to see the ball out in any direction.
Yeah, I don't know. Couldn't see that one, I'm sorry. Come out, got you.
Breeze Durham had a look over his shoulder. It was nicely done.
Got you.
Survey the options. She picked out Herring. In turn finds Sheldon. It's whipped over towards Talisha Green. A little bit more sharpness and pep and vim from Northern Rovers after those 2 goals.
You can see how far back Central are sitting. You know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players.
Well, here come Northern Rovers again down this right-hand side. A little run in behind by Kelly Brown. McConnell, heavy first touch. She recovers though. That's very well done. Another corner for Northern Rovers.
Yeah, she's worked that right-hand side well this afternoon, Kate McConnell. Number of overlapping runs. A couple of nice crosses too.
Brown, this time into the 6-yard box, and that very nearly landed on the head of Riley Sheldon. Half an hour gone. Northern Rovers leading Central Football by 2 goals to 0 in the Women's National League, round 11. Herring cutting inside, marshalled across to midfield, but look at the space it's opened up there on the right. The players being drawn to the ball now, opening up space in behind the Central Football defence. That's a good turn. It's clipped off a defender. Now Danielle Canham. It's all looking rather messy for the team in green. McConnell. Noble. Clipped in towards McConnell. First touch was sound. It's the cross that ends up in the hands of Annie Foote that means the pressure's over for the visitors for the moment. Nice touch by Herring, straight off Foote's clearance. Ryan. Herring just lost her concentration but didn't lose the ball. Durham cheaply given away, but again Central Football guilty of being unable to retain possession themselves. Sheldon. Durham. Green for Sheldon again. That's a lovely pass from Talisha Green. And cut inside by Canham, and an opportunity for the third. And there it is, in off the post. And it's Mackenzie Longmuir who adds her name to the score sheet on 34 minutes. And Northern Rovers sitting very comfortably 3-0 in front.
Yeah, they just couldn't push up the field when they were clearing the ball. This Central, there's just one player up front. Lily Dowsing sort of doing a hell of a lot of work along the back three of Northern Rovers, but again, 1, 2, 3, 4 players, green shirts in there, and still Longmuir was able to get his shot on goal. So yeah, after what was a positive start for Central, those 2 quick goals in a matter of like a minute or two, and now the third one. So a lot of a long afternoon, I think, for Central.
That's sloppy from Sheldon. Well, it's all rather confused. There's a call for the ball to be kicked out. I would assume there's an injury elsewhere on the pitch, out of our camera shot. So you're hearing down for Rovers.
Must have happened at a shot, because we didn't actually see a collision or a tackle or a challenge. Looks like it might be an ankle, is it? Or foot injury, perhaps? It's great to see the Phoenix women too, Gordy, sort of kick off their season tomorrow against Melbourne City. Hopefully get a really good crowd down there at Spark Stadium in Wellington.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a key ingredient to the overall picture for women's football in this country, to have a professional women's team competing against the best from across the Tasman as we head towards next year's FIFA Women's World Cup in Australia and New Zealand. Exciting times ahead as Football Ferns seek to make a statement at this level in front of a home crowd, and of course these matches with the United States that are coming up are also going to be fascinating.
They'll be epic.
Good crowd for the career games as well, down at Orange Theory Stadium.
Yep. Yeah, we obviously got the last phase of World Cup qualifying too. The last 3 teams will be decided in a qualifying tournament mid-February in Auckland and in Waikato. I think there's actually another couple of games for the Ferns amongst that as well, friendly games. So a lot of football in the early part of the year, which was going to be a massive event for us, obviously across Australia and New Zealand.
Philippines, Switzerland, Norway for the Ferns. Opening game in Auckland, and then on to Wellington and Dunedin to finish up. And certainly hope that the matches with the United States capture the imagination of the local audience as the appetite is whetted for the remaining qualifiers.
Be interesting to see what sort of side the US bring as well.
Yeah, it will be fascinating to see how they treat those games. It's an important reconnaissance mission in many ways. You would expect that they would treat it with suitable seriousness.
You're right. They are going to be based in New Zealand as well, right, for their group game. So definitely a curtain raiser for what will be a huge tournament in a few months' time.
Weather could be very different by next
Depends
August.
where they are.
Yeah. The weather here's doing all right, and so too are Northern Rovers. They're 3-0 up. So your hearing is back up and running, but has given the ball away to Central. That's a good ball into Dowsing. Back into midfield. Move of promise. Oh, lovely skill.
Nice.
That was Georgie Furnell. Now a chance for Central from distance. Best attack of the game for Central football by some measurement. That should give them some confidence.
Yeah, that's a lovely bit of skill from Fernell, wasn't it? Lovely layoff too. It's a Kleinsman, I think, with that shot. Fairly safe for Alan Blount.
Ryan. Herring to Sheldon. Look at the space.
Yeah, it's just hard for Lily Dowsing there, just doing doggies amongst three of them.
Acres of space for Rovers to try and invent something. Herring. Blount. Green, that's a tight ball to give to Breeze Durham, but she's managed to win the ball back as Central continue to show some relaxation on the ball at key moments when they should be a little bit more focused, because they want to replicate moments like they enjoyed just a few minutes ago. They can only do that if they stay concentrated and treasure and value the ball just a little bit more than they have. Green's ball forward. Very good ball too. McConnell. Durham. First time cross has found Canham. Right, takes the throw in quickly. It's well played by Canham. There's the overlapping run from Herring and McConnell, the fullback on the other side. The two fullbacks coming together. Just unable to put the ball in the back of the net, and it wouldn't have counted anyway. Reza Alderbea, the assistant referee on the clubroom side of McFetridge Park, had the flag up pretty quickly. Space opening up here down the right. Kelly Brown gives chase. McConnell's run forward. Courtney Noble went short. It was perhaps the better option of the two. There's a pocket of space there for Noble. She could have turned and moved into it with ball at feet.
Yeah, lovely afternoon in the sun there at McFetridge Park. See the spectators there enjoying the afternoon sunshine and a game of football. Oh, great way to spend your Saturday afternoon.
Here come Rovers again, looking for a fourth, and they just go wide of the target. Any foot not tested. That's a good kick out from Annie Foot. Central fighting for possession. Perhaps they can finish this half with a big positive. That's a decent run forward. Some defending for Sheldon to do. Central whipping across. And Northern Rovers survive.
Yeah, only had one player in the box there, Central, with that attack. So very difficult to find a solitary sort of team member with a half a dozen sort of black shirts around you.
Sheldon invites Talisha Green to get involved. She does. Brown. And that's asking far too much of McConnell. Inside the final minutes of the first half, it's Northern Rovers in front by 3-0. Comfortable afternoon for the home side so far. Two goals conceded in the space of 60 seconds has really set the tone for this match. Rovers probing for a fourth. Ryan. Canham playing wide to McConnell. Durham gets involved. Brown wins the throw. Well, I understand there'll be 2 additional minutes added on here by referee Beth Rattray. Nice first touch. Georgie Fennell has shown some excellent touches in midfield at different times, just perhaps not enough, as not as often at least as a team would have hoped for. So much does seem to depend on the quality she provides, and now Leanna Ryan with an opportunity to show her quality goes to the near post. That was a cheeky effort, and Annie Foote had to be very concentrated to get down and save that low to her right. Her view must have been blocked by a defender as well.
Yeah, I think it was a nice strike from Leanna Ryan, just trying to sneak that one into the near post of Annie Foote. Annie Foote was kind of anticipating perhaps a cross or her to shoot across the goal.
Brown's corner, and that's good goalkeeping by Foote. May have conceded 3 goals, but she certainly had a pretty good game, I would say, pretty good half. Here goes Central. Attack repelled. And that's given away, and Danielle Canham tries to find a way through and invite Leanna Ryan to get involved, but it's academic as referee Beth Rattray brings the first half to a close. It's been comfortable stuff for Ben Bates' team. They took the lead on 26 minutes through Leanna Ryan. Kelly Brown added a quickfire second within seconds, and Mackenzie Longmuir capped off a decent first half performance with a third on 34 minutes. Half time at McFetridge Park. It's Northern Rovers 3, Central Football 0. I think he did. Well, there was some action in the National Women's League. Western Springs taking on Auckland United. And it was a game that Western Springs, of course, in second place, were keen to register victory in. And they would go on to do so in spectacular circumstances. A real nail-biter at Seddon Field. United, of course, have had a spectacular season themselves, having won the Kate Shepherd Cup, but that form hasn't followed them into the National Women's League. They've had a number of players who have moved on to other opportunities. And opportunities were coming plentifully for the home side. Question was, could they take advantage of it? Auckland United had an opportunity to get in front and they took it early on. They have been one of the Auckland sides that has struggled the most. Tremendous save to keep Western Springs in the game. Well, the floodlights came on. And Auckland United managed to nip in and ball in the back of the net. Johnson and Maya Vince on target for United, and that left Western Springs needing a lifeline to get back into the game. It came through Sophia Garcia. And that was the catalyst for a comeback. Emma Pynenberg levelling the game at 2 apiece. And Garcia, who's had an outstanding season for her team, capitalises off the goalkeeping error and Springs secure a 3-2 win. How Northern Rovers wish that had gone entirely differently. Half-time scores for you. Well, of course, the full-time score, Western Springs 3, Auckland United 2. Capital Football 1-0 up over Southern United. And, of course, here at McFetridge Park, it's Northern Rovers 3, Central Football 0, and Suburbs against Canterbury tomorrow on Sky Sport Next at 1 o'clock. League table confirmed as being led by Eastern Suburbs, 100% record, 30 points from a possible 30. Western Springs on 26, Northern Rovers 8 adrift, but they will cut that back to 5. If they can maintain what they've got today. And Central Football, unfortunately, staring down the barrel of an 11th straight defeat.
Prince across the face of goal. Here's a goal. Ball laid into the path of Kennedy Bryant for her second, and that was an absolutely cutting-edge attack from Southern United. Lovely ball in behind the defence. Prince did the build-up work, and Bryant applied the finishing touch.
Atkins swinging this one, and Simon's nowhere, and it's a goal from Taylor O'Brien. Who else but Eastern Suburbs?
Lovely ball through for Devon Jackson. Has a little shot. Oh, lovely place there by Devon Jackson. Nice little side foot. Pass to Isamoa. 2-0 Eastern Suburbs. That's some enthusiastic Eastern Suburbs crowd there tonight.
Bree Johnson now again down this left-hand flank. Ruby Nathan a lot of time to pick up. Pick a shot.
Number 2 for
Ruby
Nathan. Just curled that round. Any foot unable to get anywhere near that one. She had so much time as well.
O'Brien, lovely bit of work past Jaden Watts inside the box. Taylor O'Brien, and it's a third goal for Nicola Metten. A wonderful bit of work on the right hand side from Taylor O'Brien. And a comfortable finish from Nicole Netton.
It's a complete all-round team that works hard for each other.
Oh, Takeda. Oh! What a great goal by Takeda. Borland, she cuts on the inside onto her left foot, strikes it perfectly into the top left-hand corner.
Far post. Oh, lovely bit of work.
Oh, what a goal!
Lara Smith. What a wonderful strike. She can't believe it herself.
Jackson gets a little touch off to Wilfred Carroll, has a shot. Oh! It is a shot and a half. Wilfred Carroll. That's a sucker punch right there for Western Springs. And what a left-footed rocket by Wilfred Carroll.
Wayward pass, Hirano intercepts it on that occasion. Garcia, Hirano now, one-on-one. Here's Hirano. Oh, great footwork. And it's in. And it's a goal from Hirano. Well, thought that one may get away from her, but she did choose to find the back of the net on that occasion. Rina Hirano. A bit of pressure playing off for Western Springs. One-on-one with Ulavili, does well. And on target, what a strike. Petra Buick. Fantastic strike. What a run from the substitute. Thoroughly deserved too. She's been like the star for Canterbury since she's been on. Trying to force things. What a fantastic strike by her. Settle again. Yoshida again. Opens her body up so well. Allows her to play that one first time. A shot from Yoshida. And it's a goal. Michaela Foster could not get to that one. It's Saki Yoshida. The third goal for Eastern Suburbs this afternoon. Well-worked goal from Yoshida.
Oh, lovely turn. That's beautiful from Painenberg. And she released the pass. She does to Colby. Best football of the match so far. To the edge of the penalty area, and that is the best goal of the match, and that is superb. Taparu with the finish, but beautifully crafted, and it all started with Emma Painenberg. What a turn in midfield, and releasing Colby, and again she found a teammate with the cross.
Well, here's a look at who's leading the top goal scorer charts in the Women's National League. It's Taylor O'Brien out in front on 16 goals. Kelly Brown on 9. Devon Jackson, Bree Johnson, Sophie Garcia of Rovers, Suburbs, Auckland United and Western Springs all on 9. Rena Hirano and Juliet Lucas both on 6 from Springs and Suburbs respectively. And Jess Innes also on 5, completing a trio of Western Springs players in that list. More football for you to enjoy from the National Women's League in round 10. Eastern Suburbs taking on Canterbury United, 1 o'clock Sunday, live on Sky Sport Next. That's coming to you from Pakuranga. Well, some amazing goals in the Women's League. Let's have a look at some of the goals that we've enjoyed in the National League Championship.
Reset nicely, but now Watson's got a chance here. Good ball. Here's a big chance with that player slipping over. And the chance is taken. It's Mason Smith. Sam Mason-Smith knows how to finish. His 4th goal of the National League, and Miramar reclaim the lead.
This is a long strike from Howison, and it's cleared the goalkeeper. Caught him completely unawares with the wind, and that is one of the best long-range goals you'll ever see.
Are we picking goal of the season already from Cam Howison? I think so.
Careful not to give a free kick away, but just looking to block his line of sight. If nothing else, Knight tries to come out and doesn't get there. Perhaps Zambrano was doing the right thing, and there is the goal. So he jumps out from having gotten away of the keeper legally, and then he's the first one to react. So Auckland United are level, and Zambrano becomes the second United player this season to go beyond one goal. That's his second.
There's a ball for a Melbourne player this time. It has. It's a third goal, and they take the lead in the game. And it's Kaloti who scored it. Well, all this pressure coming from these corners had to count for something in the end for Melbourne, and it has.
Letley's casual with receiving that ball. And now the space here for Jacob Richards. Oh, that's a fine finish by Jacob Richards. And it came from a Melbourne United mistake in midfield, but there's no doubting the quality of this volley. Switch of play. That might be the only way Joe Lee gets possession is with a 40-metre pass. Shuffles in Tade, hits his spot and hits the back of the net. And there is the threat, there is the danger. And Auckland United pay the biggest price. And Emi Tade scores again for Auckland City. Rover, Matt Todd-Smith switches it back onto his right foot. That's a decent run, and that is a decent goal. A more than decent goal, in fact. William Pearce. And Miramar Rangers have been opened up with a lovely piece of play and creativity by Christchurch United. United on the counter now. An opportunity through Zambrano to use the full width of the pitch down this left wing side. Opportunity for Faye, the under-20 international, and they got the opening goal. And that is stunning. What a finish on the volley from Zambrano. And that is counter-attacking football at its best. Soaking up the pressure, United. And within 2 or 3 passes, the ball is in the back of the net. City are both lucky, but they still give possession away. So shooting opportunity, deflection, just hits the post, and on the rebound they scored early. This is a stunning opening from Birkenhead, and it's their captain, Sam Burfoot, who scores, and it seems incredible after just 3.5 minutes to say that it's been coming, but it has.
Well, some amazing goals from both the Women's National League and the National League Championship. Harry, do you have any particular favourites amongst those two montages?
Look, I think Cam Howison one stands out at the moment. Petra Buick, I think Canterbury Pride, when she came on and scored 2 as a substitute in that game. They're two that bring to mind. Wilfred Carroll for Eastern Suburbs, that strike from about 30 yards on the run against Suburbs as well. But a lot of quality goals. 3 this afternoon for Northern Rovers. So, I think there's another big game this afternoon that we're very much looking forward to as well. Gordy, Birkenhead and Auckland United. So, hopefully we get some more goals in this game as well.
I quite liked the goal that Central Football scored in that montage in the Women's National League against Auckland United from the corner. Was it a corner? That was a superb goal.
Yeah.
Any level of football. Hopefully we've got more to look forward to in the second half, which is just a moment away. And, of course, the Battle of the Bridge later on in the Men's National League Championship, a game that Auckland United and Birkenhead United both have to win to keep their interest levels intense as the grand final in the men's competition looms. As that ball's played in nice and early, and second half starts very similar to the way the first half did, with Northern Rovers on the attack. It's a good header by McConnell. Breeze Durham. Alicia Green. Well, Central have a throw-in to take. Flicked on. McConnell gets the first touch for Rovers. Central launch it forward. It's returned with interest by Green. Leanna Ryan got a touch, and Central happy to just fling the ball anywhere and reset and attempt to defend what's to come. Nice touch by Rovers here on the 18-yard box. Central with a counter-attack. That again takes pressure off Northern Rovers. There's plenty of space on McFetridge Park too. It's
just that pass was, 20 metres in front of the target with no real pressure.
Sheldon. Well, McConnell dispossessed. And a foul conceded. That's frustrating for Central.
Yeah, it was just, I don't think anything wrong with that one from my perspective. It's Central player just got her body between the Rovers player and the ball.
Yeah, it didn't look a free kick to me, but that's not going to change the outcome for Central as Green comes forward. That's a good touch by Brown. Danielle Canham, gentle cross into the 6-yard box, and Central football hoisted away. It's a very familiar pattern that's unfolding in the opening couple of minutes here.
Yeah, lovely cross from Danielle Canham. Disappointing that 2 or 3 players in the box not able to get on the end of that one.
We didn't see Foot launch the ball straight out of her gloves very often in the first half. Here's McConnell. Brown. McConnell managed to stay on side. There's a run in behind by Canham, and the cutback was very carefully planned, but it's taken a deflection off the defender, then off Canham, so it will be a goal kick. Again, Central found wanting in terms of accuracy with their passing from midfield to front. That will be some disappointment for them. Herring down the left. Holly Kleinsman making some attempts to help out her defence. And there's an injury to Suya Herring, who's had a couple of knocks in this game.
Yeah, she had that knock on her foot. I think it was her foot in the first half, but just pulled up there after that challenge. May see the first change from Ben Bate this afternoon.
Well, that is a sad sight indeed. Suya Herring has played her last in this match and is about to be replaced. And it's Maisie Jewell, who was on the score sheet in this fixture in the second round, who comes straight in. It's not bad when you've got that type of quality on the bench, Harry.
That's right. Disappointing for Suya Herring because she's obviously had a very good game and a very good season for Rovers, but just had that stoppage in the first half with what looked like a problem with her ankle, and there again seems to be a reoccurring issue that she has, and unable to continue in the second half.
Lily Dowsett. Well, she fought hard for the ball, but Rovers concede the throw-in. It's headed clear by the Rovers defence. It wasn't really a throw-in that appeared to target anyone in particular. In a green shirt, green and yellow shirt, and now Central have Rovers pinned back. You can see there's 5 in midfield for Rovers. But still, Central can't exploit that space in behind. Here's Leanna Ryan. Ellen Blount. Now Sheldon. Lovely first touch by Maisie Jewell, and not a bad idea. The target was Leanna Ryan. Shannon Henson came on earlier for Courtney Noble. She's playing in that front three, at the centre of the front three.
Looks like Maisie Jewell slotted into midfield by the looks of things, and interesting to see who's sort of taking that left back role of Suya Herring. We've still got Talisha Green, Riley Sheldon, Kate McConnell along the back line, just to see who sort of dropped into that left back position.
Well, Shannon Henson was on target for Northern Rovers in their win over Capital Football, a 4-0 win last week. As the ball's wound over to the far post, that's, well, it's not a bad header, but it was back into an area of the penalty box that most coaches usually get quite anxious about when they see the defenders doing that, but no damage incurred this time. Ryan's throw headed away by Central. Connell just got caught out on her heels there, but Rovers have won the ball back. Sheldon beats 2 players, taking on a third. Frustrated with herself, as well she might be. Again, Central just can't get out of midfield effectively enough. a tendency to just turn possession over when there's no pressure, and they produce their best stuff when there sometimes is pressure.
It looks like Mackenzie Longmuir is slotted into that left back role for Northern Rovers. Maisie Jewell pushing into midfield.
Well, that was a pass intended for Brown, and Annie Foote nearly lost control of the ball. You don't tend to get too many surprises from Annie Foote. She's had a solid game today for Central. McConnell picking up Kelly Brown's throw-in. Central come away with it. They choose to go long. And again, straight back to Northern Rovers. It's Talisha Green. Breeze Durham's pass is wayward. Things getting a bit scrappy here. Nice turn by Furnell. Turned into trouble. Well, some of the quality, Harry, seems to be going. There's an inevitability about the result.
Yeah, just a little bit sloppy from Rovers over the last few minutes. Perhaps 3-0 up, just inside 60 minutes. A few players maybe getting a little bit tired. You can get complacent as well when you're doing it comfortably as well. 3-0 up, and you've had the bulk of possession and chances.
Yeah, it's very difficult for a coach as well, isn't it, to make as many changes and then have an expectation that the players coming in can maintain that intensity. They've got themselves into a reasonably good position. Well, that's headed clear by Central Football. Talisha Green. Maisie Jewell beats one, and now Kelly Brown in a good position. That's a decent cross.
Oh, lovely ball.
Brilliant goal. Absolutely stunning finish from a high quality cross, and a very well conceived move by Northern Rovers, who extend their lead to 4-0 on the hour mark.
Yeah, well, they've got the quality just to lift that tempo when they need to, haven't they? And they did it then with a beautiful cross from Kelly Brown. Well met too by Shannon Henson, the substitute. Gets her name on the score sheet this afternoon. Lovely bit of work from Maisie Jewell. Kelly Brown, lovely cross. Any Foote, no chance with that. No chance with that effort from Henson. Well worked goal.
Well, she absolutely thumped that cross in. That's perfect as a striker.
All it just needs is directed onto goal, don't you? Whether it's the inside of your foot or off your thigh, or it just needs to be, just need to guide it onto goal.
Nicely played. That's opened up possibility for Riley Sheldon to get involved. Here's Rennie Wazzie going on her own, fancies a shot, and saved by Annie Foote. Was an awkward one. It bounced just in front of the goalkeeper, wide to her left. She had some work to do. Aussie knows a thing or two about scoring goals against Central. She was on that score sheet in the earlier rounds.
Let's get the chatter going, Northern!
McConnell's throw. Aussie makes a run in behind. Danielle Canham picks out Henson. Lovely skill by Maisie Jewell. That's a good pass. Central football just can't get close enough to the ball. There's the effort from Breeze Durham from distance. I think that looked almost like a miscued cross. Oh, and Central have been caught out again. There's unmarked Rovers players lurking in and around the penalty box. That's better from Central. Very strong challenge. That's an excellent tackle. That was Mackenzie Longmuir. Scorer of Rovers' third goal, now doing a shift at left back.
It's Rebecca Jewett that's picked up a knock. That's the reason why the players kind of put the ball out for her to get some treatment. Not required.
Heavy touch from Wazzy, but she showed good strength to win the ball back. Good ball forward by Durham, and possibilities for a fifth now for Rovers. McConnell doing a shift in midfield by the looks of things. It may only be temporary. Here's McConnell in her right back position. Now Renee Wazzy. There's a bit more sharpness about Northern Rovers after these substitutions.
Yeah, it's fairly they're able to dictate the tempo, fairly pedestrian at times, but then as we saw for that goal, a couple of nice passes, Maisie Jewell and Kelly Brown. They're certainly able to lift their tempo when they need to.
Here's Clark. Tessa Highland has got some space in front of her. That's very well done. Central. They've got three players forward. Highland rejoins the attack. This is better from Central. Addison Hughes ball to the right-hand side. There's a run in behind. Oh, and that wasn't a bad cross. It hit the first player, but signs of encouragement from Central. Wazzy. Saw just how much of a difference Renee Wazzy can make to a game when she breaks lines in midfield. We saw that in the matches against Western Springs very recently. Well, midway through the second half, it's Northern Rovers in front by 4 goals to 0. Another change being made by Ben Bate and his team. Grace Bartlett, we understand, is coming in for Breeze Durham. Durham had a very tidy game, that's for sure. Fernell. Holly Kleinsman. Here's Longmuir. First touch of the ball for Grace Bartlett. Green probing forward, looking for a run, looking for movement ahead. Here's Green again, finds herself roaming forward. Here's Bartlett. Now Sheldon for Wazzy. Nice little pass through, lovely give and go between Henson and Bartlett. Henson, oh, good skill from Henson.
Ooh.
And that...
She can't kick out like that. She's lucky she didn't connect with the central player there. See, it was a shirt pull and then she lashed out.
Yeah, for me, that's a yellow card. But you could see the provocation. It was well hidden from Beth Rattray by the defender. Just a pull of the shirt, and that's frustrating. But Henson really took a big risk. You just wonder where Central are going to find a goal from to keep up their momentum of recent weeks. They really haven't looked likely. I think they've had one chance in the entire game that they created. It came in the first half. Ellen Blount has not really had an awful lot to do today. But at the other end, Annie Foote has been called into action frequently.
Yeah, they really have been. They've had their moments, Central, you know, in that first half, particularly in the first 5 or 6 minutes. But they really have been unable to build any pressure or maintain possession for periods where they can allow their back line and their midfield to push up and get themselves into the Rovers half. Balls just keep coming back, and poor old Lily Dowsing continues just to do doggies across the back three of Rovers.
Well, Lily Dowsing is about to get a rest, a well-earned rest, as Central prepare to make a change.
Yeah, she's done 70 minutes basically of doggies, really. Very little service, unfortunately, up front, and they just, like I said, just haven't been able to maintain the ball and build that pressure. But they have, yeah, as you said, Gordy, earlier on, they managed to score some goals over the last few weeks, albeit one against Eastern Suburbs and 9 goals conceded, but a couple of the week before against Canterbury Pride. Other than that shot in the first half, they haven't really tested Ellen Blount at all.
I think part of the challenge for Central football has been a sense of strength and physicality in moments like this, where the ball's been contested in midfield, and invariably, although they're in the right place at the right time, Rovers have been able to impose their physical strength in those key moments to win the ball back, even if they've lost it. But this is a move of promise. And Central have a throw. That wasn't a bad ball. It was Renee Wazzy was the target. McConnell. Here's Sheldon. Well, there you go again. Rovers were in a position where they gave the ball away. As soon as it's gone, they've got it back.
Yeah.
Either through a mistake or through contesting it themselves. And Green has taken a knock in the process. Well, we're inside the final 15 minutes. Northern Rovers 4, Central Football 0. This match going pretty much according to the form book. McConnell. Sheldon for Wazzy. Bartlett finds Wazzy again, the two substitutes combining. Well, some interesting games coming up in the next round of the Women's National League. Central Football are at home to Southern United. Southern will be targeting that game for points to put pressure on Rovers. And the home side have it all to do next week. They go to Medill's Farm. Guess who they're playing?
Big game.
Yep. Eastern Suburbs. It's win or bust, I would say. And Eastern Suburbs, who are in a mood to be ruthless and clinical about any game they're involved in, must start that game as red-hot favourites.
Yeah, they want to go through the season unbeaten, I'm sure, Eastern Suburbs. let's hope Suya Herring's fit for that clash, because you know, as Ben Bate, you want your best players available in these types of games.
Good pass to Wazzy by Sheldon. Wazzy trying to link up with Grace Bartlett. Connell gets involved. Bartlett again. McConnell. Canham to McConnell's left. There's a run forward by Wazzy. This is good from Northern Rovers. This is something special at the end of it. There's the question. Couple of shifts off both feet, and the shot from distance fails to test the goalkeeper, but it wasn't far away.
Yeah, lovely strike from good bit of work too from Maisie Dewell. Edge of the box, chopped back onto her right foot. Any foot, just making sure the dive across her goal.
Here's Central Football. Is there something in the tail of this game for them to get excited about? Not this time. It was good to see something different.
Yeah, good
Trying to
aggressive
break
run
lines.
from, I think it was Klainsman.
Here's Highland. Fennell called out on the ball. Good work from Wazzy, going back and doing some defending. And Pip Coakley. And a real tussle there. Going to be a massive step up for Rovers next week against Eastern Suburbs. If Suburbs are in the mood that they've been in for the first 10 rounds, they're going to be a handful to deal with.
Suburbs obviously taking on Canterbury Pride tomorrow at Medill's Farm. 1 o'clock kick off that one.
Yeah, Southern United is the final match of the round robin part of the Women's National League for Northern Rovers. That game will be at McFetridge Park on the 10th of December. And from there we go into the grand final a week later, I believe, just before the festive break. Here's Tessa Highland. Longmuir. Maisie Jewell. Rennie Wazzy. Sorry, that's Canham, I believe. And she's made a good run in behind. Good recovery. Shown by Madison Hughes. Nice touch. This time it's Maisie Jewell. Canham. Ball forward by Green. This is a good spell of possession by Northern Rovers. Have they created some space here on the right for Wazzy? They have. It's a good cross in. And Rovers offside, or some type of infringement. Oh. It's Isla Cleel-Harding who comes out for Central Football, and she's replaced by Olivia Stewart. Highland. He's come into the game more in the second half. That ball's been given up though. Longmuir ranging forward. Well, Central have come away with a possibility here and just cannot connect passes at the crucial moment. Holly Kleinsman. McConnell. Longmuir. Wazzy, who's now drifted over to the left. There are players steaming forward in black shirts. At least three. She has a pop herself and not too far away from the target. But again, doesn't test any foot.
Yeah, again, no pressure on the ball from Central. Wazzy able to pick that one up, cut inside and shoot from distance. Some tired legs out there for Central. They've had to do a lot of running this afternoon. Spending large parts of the game without the ball.
Here's Alexis Cook. Loses out. Hindland had the ball for a moment. Gave it to Danielle Canham. Here's Wazzy. Cook showing some lovely skill. That's an timely intervention by Tessa Highland. Well, Harry, it's been a difficult call today because of the gap between Northern and Central. Central have given it another good go, but they've just come up short. Are there any performances within Central that, relatively speaking, have caught your eye?
It's always going to be difficult. They have yet to record a point. I mean, that'll be the goal for Matt Calvert and his backroom staff there to try and see if they can, get on the scoreboard from a table perspective. With 10 games and 10 losses up to this point, so a point for them over the last sort of 4 games, even a win, be a step in the right direction, but they've clearly been second best this afternoon. Rovers been able to control the tempo, better quality, as you talked about, the physicality. When they lose the ball, Rovers, they almost instantly can win it back. They've really dominated the game. I guess 4 goals, 3-0 up at half-time, and they've probably been a little bit taken their foot off the accelerator, I think, off the pedal a bit in the second half, with only the 1 goal scored, but they've made a number of substitutions. That injury to Suya Herring kind of disrupted things a little bit, but yeah, too much quality this afternoon, Northern Rovers.
Yeah, I think looking at the central performance, Annie Foote in goal, Tessa Highland in the second half, and Georgie Furnell in the first showed at different moments some quality. But for Northern Rovers, it's been business as usual, even though there was some changes made by Ben Bate. You can see now that with Renee Wazzy on there and Maisie Jewell on, that they're an even stronger prospect.
Yeah, really strong bench, wasn't it, that he had this afternoon.
Well, Maisie Jewell standing over this free kick. Wazzy's there. Grace Bartlett's there too. There's a run to the back post from Talisha Green, and that ball clipped just wide of the target. Lovely skill from Alexis Cook. Gets to the byline. What she got in terms of quality of the cross, it's deflected away, and the shot, if you can call it a shot, it was just dragged onto target by Grace Bartlett. That was a lovely bit of skill by Madison Hughes. Well, in the final knockings of this game, Northern Rovers about to confirm what we've known for quite some time, that they're going to pick up 3 points. 4 goals scored, only 1 in the second half. That may be something that the coach, Ben Bate, may look at, or he may have had other objectives set out for the squad. But they've done the job that was asked for them, and players have got minutes into the bank. As Canham tries to link a ball through to Renee Wazzy. Maisie Jewell. Kenzie Longmuir. It's a good run by Grace Bartlett. Well, we understand 3 minutes additional time tagged on to the end of this one. Still plenty of time for Rovers to add to their tally and get the ball forward. Bartlett, Canham. Well, Bartlett got found out there by Georgie Furnell, who read that pass crystal clear. Longmuir to Green, all the way back to Ellen Blount. Oh, and that was given away, and Central can't capitalise. McConnell trying to keep that in, she fails. Well, don't forget that coming up later today in the National League Championship, it's Birkenhead United against Auckland United. That is a must-win game for both teams. They hope to catch up to Wellington Olympic and Auckland City FC. Just 2 rounds left in the National League Championship. Every point is crucial. 3 p.m, Sky Sport next. Coming up at 3 o'clock today, that is. You'll be with Harry Nata and myself for that one. I can't wait for it. I have been looking forward to seeing that game. 2 teams that have played a lot of exciting attacking football throughout not only the summer season but also in the Northern League. Maisie Jewell seemed to pull up with an injury there, and there's a long-range shot, and Central can at least say they created something in the second half.
Their second shot on goal, isn't it? I think we saw Maisie Jewell, I think you're right, just at the corner of the screen, just pull up with something actually. Not enough to sort of stop the game, but she's had a good game since she's been on, Maisie Jewell, in the second half.
Well, there it is. Referee Beth Rattray draws matters to a close at McFetridge Park. Northern Rovers have prevailed by 4-0. They have confirmed a result that was really locked down in the first half when they led by 3. The goal scorers today, Leanna Ryan, Kelly Brown, Mackenzie Longmuir, and the substitute Shannon Henson, completing a 4-0 victory. Comfortable win for Northern Rovers in the Women's National League. Let's take a look now at what this result does to the complexion of the Women's National League with 3 rounds left to play. So confirmation of some results first. Western Springs 3, Auckland United 2, Southern United and Capital Football 1-1, and 4-0 for Northern Rovers over Central Football. 1 game to go. That comes on Sky Sport Next tomorrow at 1 o'clock from William Green Domain in Pakuranga. Suburbs against Canterbury United. And Northern Rovers have cut the lead of Western Springs to just 5 points with the same amount of games played. Central Football's season of woe continues. 11 games, 11 defeats. And this, so far, is all about Eastern Suburbs. And they take on Canterbury tomorrow. And some big games coming up in this competition in the next 3 weeks. So on behalf of Harry Nata and myself, Gordon Glenn Watson, it's been a pleasure to talk to you this afternoon, but there's more to come. That's the National League Championship match between Birkenhead United and Auckland United. Harry and I will see you there very shortly.